What's up, everyone? Welcome to the RPW podcast. Happy New Year. Hopefully your holidays and your new year is going well. I am part of the commentary team. My name is Peapod and your host here on the RPW podcast. Very excited. We've already got a lot of big things happening with Ruthless Pro for 2022, but we ended a huge show back in the last weekend of November in 2021. Great new place that we're going to be doing a lot of shows with in 22 at, and we crowned a brand new RPW Rustbelt Deathmatch Champion, and he is my guest for the first episode of 2022. This is Uncivil, Satu Jinn. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, let me get this out of the way because I've been roasted on Twitter before about my pronunciation of is it Satu? Is it Sato? Is it Satu? Give for everybody who's like me who doesn't know how to pronounce a goddamn thing. Pronounce the name that you would be preferred as.
It's Satu Jinn.
There we go. Satu Jinn. There we go. Yeah. See, I see right off the bat, I already got it wrong. So look at me. I'm a professional, I guess. But I'm very excited, and I'm so glad because you have been blowing up in the independent scenes and the deathmatch scene the last couple of years, and it's very awesome to see that going on. Before we kind of rewind, let's talk a little bit about what happened in Boiling Point 2. You are our second ever and our newest RPW Rustbelt Champion. Tell me a little bit about what was going through everything during that match with Dale Patricks.
Basically just win. Like, I don't know how to put it any other way. When you're in a death match, it's like, it's survive and win. And when you're in there with someone like Dale Patricks, that is like taken to the max. Like, every move could be either your last move, every move could be his last move. It's kind of like a battle of who's gonna get the 1, 2, 3, the submission. How is it gonna come to? When is it gonna be over? It could end in that match could have went fucking anywhere between 3 seconds to 45 minutes. That's pretty much my mindset of like just going through all the different scenarios and how can I, basically weave my way through this maze that is Dale Patricks to get the W.
And he's had a crazy year himself, and both of you, not only just in RPW, but just across the deathmatch scene, you guys have definitely grown and forged your path across many great promotions, including RPW. I was watching recently old ICW Pit Fighter, and I think I saw your debut match during the Pit Fighter X's, one of the 10 Pit Fighter X's, or excuse me, 9, and then they had a tournament of tough dudes and whatever. But seeing the growth of yourself, not only there but also in RPW, and a lot of your cohorts when you were getting trained, speaking very highly of you, Schwartzy, Hoodfoot, Randy. All those cool cats kind of showing you love and seeing your growth. And now, like, this is this one of your first like championships you've won on the indies? Is this like a new one to another notch in your belt?
This is my first deathmatch championship.
Oh, wow.
I was, for a short time, I was Ox Harley's heavyweight champion down at, I want to say it was like Mid-South Wrestling Championship or MSWA. I couldn't tell you what the acronym for that was, but Mid-South Wrestling Alliance, something like that. I was shortly his champion, and then I've been tag team champions for other companies here and there.
So that's pretty cool that you're diving in this world of deathmatch, all the crazy shit getting thrown at you, getting stabbed at, things like that. That infamous video of you trying to, like, you put on social media, you just like pulling out a Kenzan out of your head, shit like that. It's crazy to me to get to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw my body to the wind. I'm going to throw caution in the wind, and I'm going to get the fighting style. And it seems like deathmatch wrestling is now in a brand new renaissance as of late.
Yeah, that's the feeling I've been getting. My thing has always been I've wanted to do death matches, just no one's given me the opportunity to do death matches up until they see me in Pit Fighter X3 of like 2019, I think it was. Like I did death matches here and there for companies that like, you know, not too many people heard anything of. I was in Prince of the Death matches in 2016. That was actually my first exposure to death matches. And like I've always been kind of drawn to it. Like after that happened, after that first match, I was drawn to it. I was like, okay, this is what I like doing. But it just wasn't in the cards. So I just traveled the country as much as I could, getting as much work as I could and working whoever I could for years until finally I got a shot on a bigger platform to do a death match.
I love the story you told, and a big old shout out to Faces and Feels podcast. If you haven't listened to that phenomenal podcast, and you got into pro wrestling by not watching like WWE or old territory days or WCW or anything like that. You saw a local indie show and you got hooked from there. And I just absolutely loved that feeling. Like you got on the ground floor, the dirtiest and the so low rent world that independent wrestling can be, and then just go from there. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah. What I also failed to mention in the Faces and Fields podcast is I was also doing backyard wrestling at the time.
So you were a backyarder.
Yeah. I was a backyarder with like Shane Mercer and Aiden Blackheart and a few other guys. Yeah, I did that for a little bit. And then it was those guys who dragged me to an indie show. And when I seen it on the indie level, I was like, I could do this for a living.
And I think that's pretty cool. And I feel like a lot of like backyarders, like if that's how you get your first taste of everything and then go like in a more professional sense, then I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. You hear a lot of stories about a lot of wrestlers who are now on big main stages. I mean, the one that I remember right off the bat and who's an Ohio native, M-Dog 20 Matt Cross. And that brother has, been across the world numerous times. And he was a backyard. He was featured in the video game for Backyard Pro Wrestling for, I think, like the PlayStation or something like that.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people started out in the backyard. I mean, how could you not in this generation? It's like you see it on TV. You're a kid at the time. You emulate it. Like anyone who says they didn't backyard wrestle at some point in time didn't roughhouse with their friends ever.
If you didn't give your sibling or your friend or whatever like a choke slam or put somebody into a figure four or a sharpshooter, you're lying to yourself. I don't think you're a proper wrestling fan if you have not even tried at least one move somewhere, trampoline, pool, backyard, wherever.
Yeah, see, I was always, before I got into backyard wrestling, like when I was a kid, I was the kid who did not want to wrestle on the trampoline. I just wanted to do flips and stuff like that. Everyone else is like, I want to do WWE moves. Like, not to me.
I can't, like, trampolines, even like as a grown adult, like still just scare me because I've seen too many of like fail videos of like people like trying to do flips or like, the trampoline falls or like their leg gets cut somewhere and then like their whole like knee or whatever gets dislocated. Like trampolines scare me a little bit.
Oh yeah, same here. I don't like I'm very grounded in like my fighting style and stuff like that. I kind of hold I don't like jumping too much or being off my feet if that can be helped. So trampoline defies everything I enjoy doing.
Except when you do that wicked rolling senton in the corner, especially with like in matches like you had with Josh Crane at the Deathmatch Circus and Inked in Blood with that pane of glass and fighting guys like Crew, who was just monstrous, and then that freak incident during ICW with the glass pane, just like it wasn't the right type of glass pane, and he got cut up real bad, and just some scary ass shit, especially with a gentleman like you moving real fast. So,
oh yeah, that was a terrifying moment. It was just a freak accident, just happened. A bad piece of glass got mixed in with the 20-30 panes we had of glass. Like if you watch earlier in the match, I smashed a pane over Cruel, and that was good glass. And then the next glass underneath it was the one we used for the cannonball, and it just as soon as I heard it break, I knew. I was like, that's not the right glass. That's what instantly my mind went to check over him, make sure there's nothing like missing body parts on him, and then let's get through this.
Yeah, that dude is a monster in so many ways, and it's very impressive to see what he's doing, not only in places like MLW, but ICW, and some of your work you've been doing, solo stuff with the Rejects and everybody. Like, all four of you, you and Akira and John Wayne Murdoch and Reed Bentley are just like this new wave of deathmatch wrestlers that like more people, not only on a regional level but on a national level, are getting hip to, and it's beautiful to see, and we're so glad that like you guys and everybody can have a home like that here in RPW, because it's really cool to see and hear, showcasing a lot of this great action. And if we can be not only a starting point, but just like a stop in somebody's career, and they do some big things, we're so honored and we're so happy. So seeing all you crazy cats doing cool things, it's wonderful to call, to witness, to see as a fan, and also being, I guess I can say I'm in the industry, quote unquote. I don't know. I don't wrestle. I just hoop and holler, and I have a vegetable nickname, so I don't do anything other than that. So I guess I could say I'm on the cusp of the industry, but you understand.
Yeah, 100%. And just like it's an honor for you guys to see that, it's an honor for us to get to work these places such as RPW. Like, I'm honored to be the RPW Rustbelt Champion right now. Like, this is a big honor to sit there and take something from Del Patrick's, basically take the torch, and moving forward, put the deathmatch portion of RPW on my back and basically be like, yes, I can pull this weight for now.
It's going to be impressive, and your first defense is already on the books. After it was a quick celebration after everything with the Rust Belt, because one evil incarnate, Otis Kogar, wants to make a name for himself, especially at RPW, making a short reign. So coming up at Cold Blooded, January 29th, that's going to be at the U.S. Military Vets Motorcycle Club in Mabee, Michigan, 2468 Blazer Road in Mabee, Michigan. You're going to be taking on Otis. Is this going to be your first time? Is this not the first time you face Otis on the scene? What's your feelings going into this?
Not at all. I should have known better, honestly, when I seen Otis in the locker room. Like, if whoever was going to win that, Otis was coming for it. I know how Otis is. Like, I've had to deal with this guy multiple times. I've been there. We've butt heads together at Trainwreck numerous times, and just about everywhere I go, I'm hearing me and Otis. Sometimes me and Otis doesn't happen because of scheduling issues, but here lately it's been Trainwreck mostly. I've put him down twice, once in a 4-way, and then another time to win the Deathmatch Armageddon. I don't know if you've seen that or not. It's like a whole 1-hour deathmatch gauntlet. Or I'm pretty sure it's an hour. Yeah, it's like an hour and a half deathmatch gauntlet. I'm not sure how long it went, but I think there was like 24 guys, and it came down to me and Otis, and I put down Otis to win that. And I knew I should have known better as soon as I won that belt that he was going to come out and want, some revenge on that. So me and Otis have been butting heads for a while now. So this is going to be nothing new. Looking forward to getting out there and cutting Pigman up and seeing what he's about.
It should be fun. Go check it out. Tickets are available right now, ruthlesspro.com. And of course, also, then we're going to be making our Chicago debut with our good friends in ICW No Holds Barred. And that's going to be happening. We got 2 big events, a back-to-back show happening in February on February 26th. And I'm sure we're going to have you involved with somebody if you make it past Otis. I'm sure you're going to be involved in some sort of way in Chicago. But on the ICW side, just announced today, it's very nice that we're recording this, the day of this recording, it was announced that you're going to be taking on Casanova Valentine.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Casanova, mainly for the fact that he was my not only my first match in ICW, my debut at Pit Fighter X3. He was also my first loss in ICW. So it'll be good to run it back and see how much we both have grown in the 2 years it's been, or year. I don't know if it's been a year or 2 years it's been since that day.
Go check that out and go check out all the events over at IWTV. So looking ahead, obviously we're in the beginning of January, brand new year. Wacky last couple of years due to everything going on, and it's very interesting how the independent wrestling scene and the deathmatch circuit has really kind of evolved this, and pro wrestling as a whole gone through all of this. So, who are you looking forward to? Who do you want to sink your teeth in? What's going on in Satu Jinn's world?
Right now, I feel like I'm in a point where I can't move forward until I go back and like fix the mistakes of my past. So the people I'm looking forward to are pretty much anyone I've lost to before. So all my ICW losses, all my IWA losses, all my freaking, I don't think I've had RPW loss yet.
I'm trying to think right now. I to be honest, I don't. Let me run this back quickly. I don't think you have, actually. To be honest, you took on Schwartzy at Ruthless Consequences. You took on Josh Crane in Inked in Blood, and you won the title at Boiling Point 2. So I believe you are on a hot streak.
All right. Well, for the most part, everyone at RPW is safe. Whoever wants to step up can step up. But there's, just anyone I've lost to. So that's the Reed Bentleys. That's the Neil Diamond Cutters. Let's see here. Dan Moff. Who else have I lost to? John Wayne Murdoch. That's what I'm basically going back and doing. I want to go back and beat anyone who's beaten me.
I'm very excited to see the future of Satu. To switch gears a little bit, because I know you're a big old nerd like I am. You're a big old fan of the Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball universe. So my question is, because I got into Dragon Ball personally later in life. I think when it was like real hot, like real hot. I wasn't hip to it for some reason, but now as an adult or an adult, more of an adult, I like it. What do you like about the world of Dragon Ball? What is it that really kind of not only just influenced you as a character, but what is it about the show and the anime, the characters? What do you like about it?
Well, originally, I guess it comes from a kid, like where most people, like I said, most people grew up and got into the business because they watched their favorite wrestler on TV and they wanted to be like their favorite wrestler. Well, Dragon Ball is my wrestling. Like I watched that and that was my fanboy. That was my religion. That was my everything. Like I wanted to be a Dragon Ball Z character brought to life. And it wasn't too long. It really wasn't too long. It was an idea that sparked when I went to a professional wrestling show, but it took a little bit into my career to be like, I could 100% do this. I could be the closest thing to a DBZ character / anime character brought to life in this ring at this moment in time. So for me, what I guess was what brought me, what made me such a huge fan of DBZ was obviously the action, the art style, the moves, the powers, and the storylines. I was a real big fan of the storylines, the characters. Piccolo has been my homie since day one. And just the overall, like, I remember there was a portion in my life before I got into wrestling where, like, I had just gotten my first apartment. And, like, if you came over to my place 24 hours on, like, this little freaking computer monitor would be Dragon Ball Z playing through all 9 seasons over and over again, just because every time I watch it, I learn something new about it.
Are you said you were a Piccolo fan. I always feel like a lot of Dragon Ball characters are either like Team Goku or Team Vegeta. I know you said that you enjoy Piccolo yourself, but in the Goku Vegeta debate, which side do you play?
I mean, I guess I'd play Goku in the sense like as I've grown up, I find myself becoming more Vegeta. Like I like Vegeta more as a character, but like obviously, like when you're young, you obviously are going to be drawn to who they want you to have your eyes on, which is the main character. Uh, but yeah, as a kid, Goku was my dude. As I've grown older, freaking Vegeta over Goku, but like in like my I guess this new mindset I have of where I'm a lot older than I actually am in my mindset, Piccolo is OG over everyone.
Yeah, I think his character development over the seasons was really good. Do you wait to like watch like the English translations that are like dubbed, or do you try to find like online stuff for like the Japanese version? Do you read the mangas at all? Do you watch how deep do you go? The reason I'm asking is because I'm testing your nerdery knowledge. Like how far in to the world do you go into?
Uh, it really depends on my mood over the years. Uh, I've delved into both the dubbed and and the Japanese just to compare the dialogues between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I've also dived into like the like ocean dub or like other dubs that like weren't as good in American that most people don't even remember. Um, when it comes to like new material like Dragon Ball Super, it's kind of lost my interest as of late. So I kind of just keep up with it with like YouTubers like Geekdom 101 and stuff like that. He helps me keep up with like what's going on. And if it seems interesting, I'll go back and read the manga or wait for it. Well, right now it's not being animated, but I'll read the manga. That's another thing I did is also I went back after I done watched the entire show of like Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. I went back and bought the manga and read that just to see the differences in between. But yeah, if something sounds interesting, like if he says, like if he one of his reviews of a chapter and it sounds like a good chapter, I'll go and read it and check it out. But for the most part, I've kind of like lost interest in keeping up with Super right now.
Mm. What's your stance on Dragon Ball GT?
Dragon Ball GT, I enjoyed it when I was a kid. When I was like, 13, 14, it was cool. And then like as I got older and I realized like it wasn't what people would refer to as canon, then I kind of lost interest because it doesn't have anything to do with like the story of Dragon Ball as a whole. It's its own separate story. So as its own separate like entity, it's cool. Not the best storyline, kind of ends abruptly for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what they tried to do.
I haven't watched it fully. I know it's available, like I think on Hulu, but it's only subbed, which I don't have a problem with. But I know it dragged on like the beginning and like the history of how that was creative. Like there's like good YouTube like descriptions about how that whole storyline and where it lands and if it actually is technically canon or not. Because Dragon Ball Super happens like I think shortly after the tournament, while GT is like way far into the future, post everything. So they kind of make I think they kind of shoehorn everything so it kind of all like makes sense. And then I've been really big on the because currently in Japan they did a special anime to hype up their the Dragon like a collectible card game arcade game, and they did an anime to hype up the game, and it's called Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and it's all like it's almost like it feels like it's a very weird fan fiction because you have alternate universe. I think they called it like Xenoscape or whatever. Like these time people of Vegeta and Goku from like an alternate universe that actively reach to Super Saiyan 4 and then they fight people. And it's crazy. They meet up with like this universe's Goku, Vegeta, and the team. It's a wild. I highly recommend go checking out if you can still find it subbed on YouTube. But it's just a wild story and just like pure action, no substance. It's just wild.
Oh yeah, I gave it like 3 or 4 episodes, and I was like, I don't need this in my life. Like in my old age, like I don't want just action. I'm so nitpicky about a story. I like a good story. Like if you're not gonna keep me invested with a decent like narrative, I won't even give your show a chance half the time. Like there's so much unwatched anime in my queue where like I watched 2 or 3 episodes and it's like, and all my friends are like, oh, well, it picks up this episode. I was like, bro, getting to that episode. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do it. Like you got to have me enticed immediately or I'm just going to start playing Pokemon on my phone or start writing or doing something else other than watching the show.
Yeah, Pokemon was another thing. Like, I got real hip into it in the beginning, like when it like the first phase of everything. And now trying to get into it now, and also like this whole range of just everybody just buying the cards. Like I know Josh Crane is like big into Pokemon, so just like seeing him talk about it. But I'm just like watching and looking and seeing what people are hip to. And I'm just like, I have no fucking idea what's going on. Like now they can turn giant. Okay, sure. Whatever, fuck it. Or the card game, and like all the cards are like all like involved now, and I don't think even people play anymore. They just collect and buy and sell. It's, I don't know. I just it gets to the point where like I'm into nerdy stuff, but also at the same time like it's so like almost saturated that like it's just not even almost like fun because it's not like its own little thing anymore. Like I used to be really big into comic books, and I still am in a sense, but like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has like soured comics for me because like it's everywhere and it does nothing about the books and doesn't really support that much of like writers and comic book stores. And I know a lot of people in that industry. So it's wild. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just becoming a grumpy old man at almost 36 because my birthday's in a few weeks. So I don't know.
I mean, I feel that. I feel like, and I guess the way I look at it is like, you can only like nerd out for like what's in your kind of spectrum of like for most people, Pokemon is a nostalgia thing. So like most people, like a lot of my friends, they won't even fuck with Pokemon past the 4th generation. They'll just be like, all right, I quit playing those games. And that's who I usually play with is my buddies. And we'll all get together and play like freaking ROM hacks of different games and stuff like of different old school games. Like I usually don't bother with the new, like I don't think I've bought a new Pokemon game since like the DS first came out.
Right.
Most of the time I just play like different versions where someone's gone in and reprogrammed Pokemon Fire Red and they just redid the map or something like that, or put in different dialogue. So I think it's like most of the time I have no clue what's going on with the cards. I collected the cards for a little bit as a kid. And then after that I quit collecting them and then they just turned into something I don't know what's going on.
Like there's a big like almost a nostalgia boost now of like a lot of things. Like if people are getting into like Magic the Gathering again, I'm just like, where were all you people when I was like being chastised for liking all this? Now it's hip. Nah, I don't like it. It's different. Everybody thinks it's cool now to be a nerd. Whatever. You weren't an OG nerd. No, I'm kidding. Everybody's nerdy in what they like, and for us, it's pro wrestling clearly because this is what we do. Some for a living, some as a fun side hustle. No matter what it is, as long as you're passionate about something, and you enjoy what you're doing, and it's not hurting anybody, who fucking cares? Enjoy it. Life's too short.
Do what makes you happy.
Exactly. So, of course, big shows coming up. Cold-Blooded, the RPW Rustbelt title online. Uncivil Satu Jinn. I'm trying to do actively to make sure I say the names right. Will defend the title against Otis Koger. Go check that out. And also a couple, we're still developing and we're still showcasing a little bit about, who is going to be involved in Cold Blooded and what does it all mean? Who is all connected? But you can get tickets now, 25 front row, 20 general admission, 6 p.m. doors, 7 o'clock bell time, January 29th, 2468 Blazer Road in Mabee, Michigan. It's the U.S. Military Vets Motorcycle Club. And of course, we make our RPW Chicago area debut with the good friends at ICW No Holds Barred on February 26th. Tickets on sale for that. Also, get them all at ruthlesspro.com. Last thing of the topic discussion question of the night, Satu. What do you want to try to get through this year? I mean, obviously we talked about you want to get all your wins back, but personally, professionally, what are some of the bucket list goals? What do you want to try to do outside of already mentioned this year?
Really, my only goals is to wrestle as much as possible, like. Just to continue to do this, do what I love every weekend, multiple days in the weekend. To travel, I've only marked off I think 28 states so far, so that leaves another 22.
Something like that, yeah,
something like that. I don't know, my math sucks. And then also I'd like to get out of the country. Mexico, Canada, hopping the pond, going over to Europe, Asia, Japan, freaking Australia. Australia's deathmatch scene is freaking hype right now. Like, I'd love to go there. Just basically make 2022 and every year after that the year of Satu Jinn. Like, I love how everyone says, like, this will be my year. It's like, nah, I want every year after this to be better than the next year.
Yeah. I feel like that. I feel like if I've gone through life and I've done some good things and I've grown as a person or a professional, no matter what realm I'm in, I think it's a W, and I think it's very excited. If we want to follow you on social media, what's some of the handles that we can?
I am really easy to find. All you gotta do is search Satu Jinn. I'm the only Satu Jinn on any social media platform anywhere in existence. Honestly, you go on the internet, there's not going to be another Satu Jinn anywhere else. On Twitter, the only thing that changes is it's at Uncivil Satu Jinn.
So there you go. And follow him, follow all the shenanigans, the craziness, and of course, follow RPW on all social media. Watch our stuff at IWTV. Go check out some merch, Deathmatch Worldwide, and so much more. And you can find all those links and more, ruthlesspro.com, including the podcast that you're listening to, hopefully right now. Satu, anything else you want to add?
Looking forward to just the rest of 2022. Guys, I don't know when this podcast is coming out exactly. So if it comes out before Cold Blooded, show up to Cold Blooded. If it doesn't come out before Cold Blooded, show up to Chicago. Come support indie wrestling. Come support deathmatch wrestling. We love to see as many faces as possible. That's it.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Support wrestling and legalize deathmatch wrestling, as I like to see that phrase going around right now, because a lot of places can't do deathmatch wrestling right now, but it's a lot of fun. It's very unique, and you'll get hooked. So come to a show. Go check it out. Ruthlesspro.com. Satu, thank you so much for taking some time out and talking with me.
Thank you for having me.